All right, guys, we're calling an audible this week because if you watched our previous story number 1 about all the games, we decided to talk at length about all of the games that were announced on the PS5. So if you want to check that out, make sure to check that out. Actually, in the upper corner here, you can check out that video. But now we're going to talk specifically about the console. So we're only going to have 2 stories this week, games and console. Let's jump right into the Sony PS5 console reveal, awesome future tech, or a glorified Wi-Fi router. Joining us for this story, again, is Miju. Thanks for jumping on board this week.
Yep, thanks for having me.
We're definitely very happy to have you. Okay. The PS5 system was finally revealed, and it looks interesting. There are 2 models, a model with a disk drive and one without. So let's just jump right into our discussion topics. The first one is, how do you feel about the design? John.
I like it.
Start us off.
I like it. It's very futuristic looking. It's different than any type of design we've seen in the past. It kind of looks like the old 360, like the original 360. Like with
I can see that.
The tall, long, and then have the hard drive at top. But yeah, it looks more futuristic than the Xbox Series X for sure. And it's different, and I kind of like it.
How do you feel that it will... Well, I'll ask this in a second. How do you guys feel about the design?
It's Oh,
sorry.
I don't mind it. Like, I think it looks cool. I wonder if they're gonna make like a black version, because I feel like it'll look weird next to all my other consoles, but that's okay though. I don't know. It looks fine.
There'll probably be like special editions down the line that are not white.
Ooh.
The fan mock-ups look so good. Like there was a Miles Morales one. Looks beautiful. Like
That's nice.
I wish they would do
that.
that.
I wonder if they'll get like D-brand skins. That would be sick. Get some webbing on the side of your thing. I think the design overall is a little bit much. If I'm gonna set that kind of to the point of what Miju said, if I'm gonna set that next to all my other consoles, it is totally gonna stand out. And for a console, I don't need that. I need a console to go into my either, my whole like rig over here that I do for video editing and streaming and stuff, or I want it to sit next to my TV and not just be a statement piece. Like I'm not trying to
definitely
have a conversation starter. I personally don't want that, but I understand that some people do.
It's tall. Like it's super tall compared to the other consoles.
I'm surprised they didn't show more images of it on its side during the presentation, because there was like a quick like ending video where they were like, and it's on its side. And it was like one flash, and I was like, oh look, it's on its side.
It doesn't look that stable on its side, because like one part's like raised.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
How will you have it laying down, or will you have it standing up? And where will you keep it?
Probably it's standing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have it standing up.
I might do laying down.
I think I'm gonna have mine laying down as well. 50-50. But yeah, I just for those who don't know, and Miju, you probably don't know, I just moved, so like I'm rebuilding my studio from scratch. So I'm gonna be like building this like custom thing for all my systems, and a giant PS5 is just like threw a wrench in all of my plans. I'm just like, why is this thing so tall? Like I'm gonna have to just like stick it on the top. Like, come on now. But yeah, I just think it's gaudy. I'm sorry.
I can see that. I can see that. Especially like all of the other consoles are just kind of like boxes, they're just like sleek boxes, and then you have
like the parts that stick out seem really like pointless. Like why?
Like,
do they
what's
stick
with
out?
the pointy?
You can just shave them off.
Yeah.
Just sand down the top of that thing. You save yourself 3 inches.
Honestly, going through that whole presentation, I thought the buttons were just going to be the console. Like, I thought it was going to be, there's going to be 4 different models and each for one button.
Dude, they showcased the buttons so hard. They were like, hey, this is our brand now. It's just cross, circle, triangle,
They
square.
paid somebody so much money to make, like, different transition scenes with all those buttons.
That's sick. That's a cush job, man. Someone's just sitting like with like Blender or some equivalent software, just like making awesome videos.
Well, the guy that designed those buttons, I'm sure got paid like a ton for those circle, square, triangle.
Just get royalties on that button design.
Yeah.
Every time they show it. It's a very, I think it's very like Japanese design. Like it's more, because whenever I think of Japan, I think of like more futuristic. Like they're ahead of us. Like they're in the future. And it reminds me of like a Japanese skyscraper or something.
It is a Japanese console, so I guess
That's what I meant. I wasn't like, not like Microsoft, who's an American-based company making a box.
And gave us a square.
Gave us a fridge.
Yeah,
I thought
gave
it was
us a
funny.
literal box.
I thought it was funny because they're like literally in the future as well. Like it's probably morning there.
That's nice. I was actually trying very hard to think whether or not they were. That's how that went.
Yeah, they're like
And then
12 hours.
I was too embarrassed to get it wrong, so I didn't say it. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about the design before we talked about the other very heated discussion
I'm
that
so
we're about
excited.
to have is the lights. I think we should talk about the lights on it because they showed that there's light, like blue LEDs that go down the whole console on either side.
Oh.
And I don't like that. It's like if I'm sitting in the dark playing my PS5, as I will do, and then I'm just going to have a huge like wah of blue just coming into like one of my eyeballs.
And do the
I'm
lights turn off when you put it in rest mode, or is there always going
It
to
probably
be like
turn
a
the
hue?
orange like the PS4 in rust mode, right?
Oh, potentially.
I'm assuming they'd let you dim it or something.
Do they let you turn off the light on your controller on a PS4?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Think so.
I should have researched that before. Yeah, because I'm not sure that you can. So I don't know if you'd be able to change it.
Just like put stickers over it. It's fine.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Or
You
just like
overheat
just
the system.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna customize mine. I'm just gonna like sand it down. I'm gonna rip the lights off. They're like, dude, I heard you got a PS5. Like, what is that? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the PS5. They're like, did you break it? All right, so let's move on to a conversation that I'm dreading having, and that is the fact that there are 2 SKUs for the PS5. One of them has a disc drive, and one of them does not, which means one of them is a digital-only console. How do we feel about physical versus digital, and how that is going to continue through the future?
Do it.
Does anybody?
I mean,
Where
I
to
have
go?
a preference for physical, but I don't hate digital games. Like, I'll buy it if it's like on sale or like I really just want to play it and I don't want to go to the store.
I'm in the same boat. I guess I'll just jump in on that. I prefer to own all of my stuff physically because I do consider myself, in addition to a gamer, which is, a cool title to have, in addition to being a gamer, an elite gamer, I do consider myself a collector. And with collector's editions and just having all of the boxes, and if you go back to like the early 2000s and the 90s and the 80s, you get the boxes and the manuals and the completed box, and just like trying to piece everything together and searching for legit stuff on eBay. Like I just really enjoy that part of gaming that's like it totally removed from even playing the games. Like I like the hunt. I like going to like retro stores and finding that stuff. So I know that like that's not realistic, and then also if you play off of a disc, they're only going to install the data. When you put that disc in, it's just like what you do with the Xbox backwards compatibility now, where it just is like a copyright protection thing. They're not going to be using I don't think they're going to be reading the disc, because if you're playing off of the SSD, like they're going to be loading these environments like 6,000 times faster than you could ever read off of like an optical disc. So the idea of like what that thing even is just a means to get it installed on your hard drive anyway. Right. So it's basically already digital, but I sort of don't ever want it to go away where I still can't have just a wall of video games because I just love it so much. Anyways, that's my spiel.
So I'm not
but
really
I also go ahead.
Sorry. I'm not like a collector, but I like to have a collection. So like I have my like, I don't know, 20 games that I like love. I like to have it on display. Like these are my games. So like all the big games, I like to have them physical, but like the indies and stuff, like I just download them because I don't care. But I don't know.
So my thoughts on digital are well known.
Well known across the internet.
I prefer digital, but also like in relation to the collector's edition stuff, a lot of them don't even have the game with it anymore. Like you could buy a collector's edition of a game and it will not have the game.
So I wouldn't say a lot. I would say some of them. There was like that Mass Effect debacle. Like there's like some of them that do that, but that's not the majority.
See more since there is a digital only model. I could see them releasing collector's editions that, you know, either include a code or don't even have the game, but you could still buy like the collector's edition to get like the statues or whatever comes with those. So I could see that happening now that there's a push towards digital. My main thing about this is if the digital only is going to be the same price and have the same storage, like I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to buy it. I'd rather, you know, get the disc one.
Oh, there's no way. I totally disagree with that. I think there's two SKUs because I think the model with the disc drive is going to be like $600. Then they're going to have like a cheaper version that doesn't have a disc drive because it costs less money and has less moving parts. And it'll probably be the same storage amount, but it'll be a cheaper entryway for people to get into PS5.
And if that's the case, I'll definitely go with digital, because if you're not getting it, if the only benefit is to be able to play disc-based games, I would rather save the money on that.
So are you going to cancel your GameFly subscription?
Yeah. Is that even around anymore?
Yeah, it's still around.
Oh, yeah.
I just got an email saying like, you want to join for $1?
Yeah, I wonder what like how, you know, GameStop or all these physical game places are feeling now that, you know, one of the major systems is going to have a SKU. Like I know Xbox did the digital only, but that was like,
they have a digital only.
But that wasn't like a big deal. But this one's like releasing day and date with the disc-based one. I'm assuming companies are trying to figure out ways how to sell digital codes.
Well, you know how they sold Fortnite on the Switch, right?
Yeah, it was a bundle.
You could go to the store and you could get a Switch case that just had a code in it.
Yeah, but it wasn't the game. It was like
extra stuff because Fortnite's free, right?
Yeah, it was V-Bucks.
That's right.
So yeah, if you wanted the case, you would go there and buy. It was like $30 or something, and you got cosmetic items. That's what I think is going to happen. Like, I think they're going to have these physical cases, but they're going to be download codes in them. Because even now, like some Switch games don't have a disc in them, or don't have a cartridge in them. It's just a download.
I was going to say no Switch games have a disc in them.
I forget what. Like that's a big. A lot of people are not happy about that because like, why would you buy a case and not get the cartridge?
Yeah.
That's like my other problem with digital is like, in my head, I feel like I'm getting less because I'm not getting an actual cartridge or disc. And I feel like I don't own the game. I own a license to play the game.
Yeah, which is a problem for 20 years from now if they don't keep the infrastructure. Like, I mean, hopefully, the way things are going, who's to say that the Earth will still be around in 20 years? But like, 20 years from now, like, am I still going to be able to hook up to like whatever Sony like online store? Am I going to be able to access all my digital games, or is it going to be like, you don't own the rights to this? Whereas if I want to play Super Mario Bros. 3 on my NES, I just blow on the cartridge and stick it in and play it.
True. I mean, you could
I've been able to do that for
your
30 years.
You could keep your old systems. And you still be able
But the same with like when marketplaces like shut down, like you can't go back in and like get your stuff sometimes.
Well, I think moving forward now that digital is becoming more part of the future, I don't think we're going to see it as often. Like, they're going to leave those marketplaces open. They're probably just going to have like they're just going to integrate it into like
have like an evergreen system, kind of like how.
So do you think that like
buy something
when you get your PS5, you'll be able to like re-download your compatible PS4 games? Like, they haven't really said anything about that.
I mean, they didn't say anything about it, but I think if you have compatible games, you will be able to download it, because that's how Xbox is going to work.
Mm-hmm. Xbox definitely has the future proofing stuff figured out.
Yeah,
they're oh man, that smart delivery is such a genius idea.
And that's another thing that is a little scary. PlayStation hasn't said anything about backwards. Like, they haven't really confirmed how it's going to work. Mm-hmm. They said, PlayStation 4 games, most of them will work, but we don't know how. And we don't know if there's going to be that smart delivery system. Like, if they're going to release a PS5 version of The Last of Us, am I going to have to pay $60 to get that benefit? Or will it just update?
Who knows? I don't know. Companies like money, so I wouldn't put it past them. All right. Final thoughts on physical versus digital.
I think I kept it pretty civil.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody went for the jugular this time.
No.
I think we've had this conversation enough times. We just knew where it was going. Awesome. All right. Thanks again, Bijou, for helping us out this week with the podcast. It was super fun having you.
Yep, thank you.
And thanks to your cat as well for that.
Oh,
those parting words.
What is your cat's name?
Buddy.
Thank you, Buddy, for also co-hosting this week. And that's it for the Sony PS5 console reveal. A special thank you to Mijou for co-hosting this week. If you want to check out her content, the link is in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.